So I'm going to start putting out new gimmick deck ideas, unlike my already gimmicky decks. Now, if you've been following my channel for some time, then you probably already know I only really put out 3 types of videos. Style videos, which I put out every day. Versus videos, which I just commentate while dueling. And other, my random videos that don't actually involve dueling, but are related to Yu-Gi-Oh! In one way or another. Now, I originally started this channel as kind of a branch off of my more popular World of Warcraft channel, because I was already making videos about one game I love to play, so why not Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. I like to make gimmicky decks, have liked to make them since I was in middle school. I'd buy every single new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game for my Game Boy I could find, and just build hundreds of decks all day every day. And when I got a job in high school, started spending all my money on real decks. When high school ended, I had no one to play with anymore, so I just started building decks on Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, which costs about just as much money as buying real cards. When they shut down Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, I was so pissed that I stopped playing for Yu-Gi-Oh! For years. Actually, that's not really true. I still play Tag Force games, but they never really released the newer ones in America, and they kind of stopped around when XYZ Monsters came out. Anyways, long story short, I started making Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos because I was already playing the game anyway, and I already had all the equipment and knowledge from my other channel to make videos. This channel was just for fun, and just as a secret between you and me, I like making videos for this channel more than my other one. So, on to the new video ideas. Recently, in part because of my other channel having a small boom in success, I can afford to spend less time doing actual work and spend more time making videos. And I had a few ideas for new gimmick decks that I want to release daily in addition to my stylish videos. Don't worry, these new decks are just going to be extra content. I'm still going to put out the style decks every deck. Style decks, of course, is just what I call the weird decks I make. It may not seem like it, but I actually put a lot of work into making them somewhat consistent, and that's not an easy thing to do. And if I fail to make it consistent, I usually say so at the beginning of the video. These new gimmick decks, however, don't really care about consistency. The first new gimmick decks are called the Extreme Theme Deck, or XDR for short, because I like to make cool code names. Anyway, these decks will conform to a strict set of rules to follow the theme of the deck to the extreme, with the exception of being able to use 2 MSTs, because playing without MST on Dev Pro is suicide, but not other staples. For example, say I wanted to make a Blue Eyes White Dragon XTR deck. I could only use cards that have to do with the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Sounds simple, right? There are many Blue Eyes decks out there. Well, under the rules of XDR, the deck would look a little something like this. Notice how the extra deck only has 9 cards? That's right, no XYZs or Synchros unless they fit the theme as well. I also use nearly every single card that lists Blue Eyes in its effect or has Blue Eyes in its picture, or that allows me to use the cards in the deck like King of Swamps to search out Poly and 10,000 Hands to search out the rituals. This deck would never see the light of day as a stylish video, but works perfectly in this new type of video. On to the next one. This next gimmick deck is called Faildex, or Fade for short. Fade because if you take the first 2 letters from fail and deck, it spells fade, and I like cool code names. Anyway, I've made a few fail decks as stylish videos, most notably all of my gambling deck videos. These decks will either be made of terrible theme or archetype, like gambling deck or guardian deck. You know, those crappy cards that need their specific spell card to be played? Yeah, a deck based on them would fit this new idea perfectly. But this will also have a combined archetype decks as well. Decks that use a mix of 2 already existing archetypes, but that have almost 0 synergy when used together. Think decks like Fire Fist and Dark Worlds put together, or Raccoons and Dragons. These decks will lose often, but get lucky sometimes and pull off wins. Or not. That's what I think will be the fun about them. Okay, the last gimmick deck, 60 card decks, or CD60 for short. This one is pretty self-explanatory. It's just 60 card decks. There isn't really any restrictions on how to build these ones like the other 2. I can try to make it as consistent as possible, it just has to be 60 cards. Alright, and that's it. Those are the 3 new videos I'll be making on a regular basis in addition to what I already do. I was also thinking of making 2 other video series called Stack Decks and Ritual Duels, where I make stack decks and play myself to get off impossible combos like 73 Quasars in one turn, or making retro decks and playing against other retro decks that I make. Think Yada, Lock versus Goat Control, stuff like that. I'm not really sure if I'll make those 2 kinds of videos or not, because they are a lot more work to do. But I might, so I thought I'd let you know in this video as well.